Well, welcome back to the House of Milk and Pancakes. Otherwise known as the Disinformed Podcast presents Crazy, Stupid, Insane Love. I'm Shane.
I'm John.
I'm Michael.
Courtney.
How about that milk, Courtney?
Milk?
Delicious.
Mm-hmm.
So
This
refreshing.
is pancakes.
It's warm milk too, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
It's the only way to drink milk.
Straight from the teat.
Oh, it's like throat coat
so
then.
it's fresh. Yeah. Okay.
Well, now Jonah seems a little off to me in ways that I can't describe.
So you're saying that his wanting to have our voices playing in the background whilst the two of them enjoyed their matrimonial practices was not enough of an inciting incident for you to question him?
No, game respects game.
Oh, okay. Well, now we know what you and Becky are getting up to in the cheerleader outfit.
This will not be the last time that you've been represented in my bedroom.
I'm not shocked.
And Becky's not the one in the cheerleader outfit, so.
Well,
Exactly.
of course.
Sure
And
ain't.
And Shane's bringing the sloppers. Well, for those of you who are uninitiated, our sincerest apologies up front, but we typically host a very infantile podcast that flees from your preferred provider app every single marvelous Monday morning, and you can find our content there. But also, this has become our side hustle, where we, for a laugh and a lark, will occasionally dive into some fabulous fan fiction, or infamous fan fiction, depending upon your perspective. And this is our version of the Lovecraftian fanfic, Crazy, Stupid, Insane Love. It may get a little risque, and I hope you are prepared. But if you have not encountered this previously, there are 3 prior chapters, so you should probably rewind to the first of the playlist, which is featured in the link tree below, which also includes our Friday show here on the Tubes of You, Disinformed After Dark, and you can find both that and this here every single wonderful week, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, on those respective days. And I think that has given us the appropriate introduction to what we do here. But whilst I'm on the topic, I believe that John has a bit of a preamble to add in as well.
Raise your hands if you are a voice actor or have ever been paid to lend your voice. No, just Shane? That's right. We are not professional voice actors, as you are going to painfully find out, or if painfully already discovered. Michael goes through these fanfics that God somehow forgot to kill and puts them onto a Google Doc for us. We do cold reads. And as Shane was saying, kind of just have a silly bit of fun seeing just how bad it can get. That's the shortest I've ever done the preamble.
Well, we're trying to cut it down. Trying to cut back.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Well, any gender bending this week, friends and neighbors?
For me.
As always.
And Courtney, I guess, yes.
So the answer is yes. That's what you're trying to say, is that the answer is yes.
Sure.
Succinct as always, Mr. Clark. I appreciate your efforts.
I try.
You don't, but
Michael's
All
the worst
right.
casting director of all time.
Truly.
yeah, you don't want to sit on that couch either. I'm just going to mention that.
It's not real leather.
Stains don't get out of pleather that well.
It's Corinthian.
Ooh.
That was the last
Exotic.
fanfic.
Ooh, speaking of which, that is one of my absolute favorite characters in Sandman, so go check that out. Anywho, I digress. Moving on to the Disinformed Podcast cast presents Crazy, Stupid, Insane Love. Chapter 4. Thulu couldn't remember exactly what happened next. He vaguely remembers pointing in a random direction and shouting,
Distraction!
and Idh and Yog, still shocked from what they saw, actually turning to look. He also remembers grabbing Nyal's arm and jumping out the window, which was conveniently right in front of his bike. He then remembers tossing her his emergency helmet and yelling,
Get on!
feel like tossing the emergency helmet is another euphemism we need to incorporate.
Yeah, indeed.
So we got milk and pancakes, an emergency helmet out of this
Yes.
show. So there's
Yes.
that. Which would explain why he was blasting down the road at 100 mph.
I'm so dead. I'm so dead. I'm so dead.
He muttered like a mantra. The wind was whipping in his eyes, but he didn't put his riding goggles on. He needed the pain. It was all he could trust right now.
Bring Me to Life by Evanescence is playing in the background.
Without a thought, without a heart, without a soul. Don't let me die here. I don't want to die in Canada.
That comes later.
He wasn't imagining that. His best friend had tried to kiss him. How was he supposed to react? Things were so much simpler before that blasted man wrote those blasted stories. All he had to do was sleep in his underwater city, occasionally waking up where the planets aligned and his cultists summoned him. Then he could wreck shit and cause widespread anarchy before getting bored and going back to sleep. But then HP came along and he became a sensation. Everybody knew his name. Not a fucking one of them could pronounce it. Sorry, no, editorializing. He had become some pop culture icon, a goddamn myth. He was no longer a god. People sold frickin' plushies of him for fucktagen's sake. He was nothing more than a story. He was nothing. Period.
Bum, bum, bum.
A tightening around his waist reminded him of his pancakes. Passenger, sorry, no. A tightening around his waist reminded him of his passenger. He loosened his grip on the accelerator and allowed the speed to decrease. Her grip loosened, and her head settled on his back. He drove for a little longer before happening upon a small beach. Cthulhu stopped the bike and got off. He heard Njal do the same and removed her helmet. Nope, I have to get the...
You do have
Sometimes my brain actually autocorrects, which is really great for reading, not good for representing poorly written fan fiction.
I don't think that I said it, but it kind of goes without saying that we pronounce everything as the author intended it.
Yes, yes. He heard Njal do the same and remove her helmet, placing it on the seat. They walked out onto the sand, and Thulu turned to face her. Her head was down, but he could tell she was about to cry.
Hulu?
John.
She started hesitantly, not using her selected pet name for him, like a child about to be punished.
Oh yeah.
I was so into it.
Way to break character, John.
Sorry, this is hot.
I did something bad, didn't I?
It's that accent. He sighed.
Not necessarily, no. Just explain why you did it.
She hesitated.
You're my best friend.
She started.
You were always nice to me, even if you were a little stuck up. When you were awake, you always hung out with me. You accepted me. You even gave me my nickname.
He remembered that. It was when he first met the Crawling Chaos. Nicknames were usually covered by Dagon, but...
Flashback. It says flashback in the notes.
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
don't know how to indicate flashback.
No, you were fine. You were fine.
Spear fingers, yes.
Yeah, for what a what? That's far too long. I shall refer to you as Jarl instead. Great Cthulhu has spoken.
You could appreciate chaos. You could make people go insane by just being around them. You saw the true beauty in it. I was always so lonely when you slept. No one else was as fun as you.
He did enjoy the occasional zombie plague. He didn't realize Gnarl thought of him so highly, though. He felt like a cool older brother.
Roll Tide. Then Idh-yaa came along and snatched you up, but you weren't happy. I could tell you were happier with me or the others, but Iddy and Yagi kept you on such a short leash.
That was true. He always preferred to be around Njal, or even Haster and Dagon, than his psychopathic girlfriend and her even crazier father.
Slowly, I began to feel weird around you. My tentacles became wobbly, and I felt. Sorry.
From what?
More professional.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from the top.
Get in the role. Really put yourself in those tentacles.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
the tip of the tentacle.
How wobbly they are right now. I feel wobbly right
Tip
now.
to tentacle to tail.
Give it all you got, Michael.
Be a little more a tentacle.
Damn it. Slowly, I began to feel weird around you. My tentacles became wobbly and I felt warmer. I even changed my gender to a girl because I thought you'd spend more time with me. You didn't notice, though. Even when everyone else did, or when Dagon started hitting on me.
How could he not have noticed his best friend completely changing sex? Was he just that comfortable around her that he didn't care? He did notice Dagon's advances, though he chalked it up to Dagon being Dagon.
So, how about I put my fishmen in your cultists?
Aw, yeah. I didn't know why I was doing it. It was hopeless, but still.
Still what?
Every time you called me Nyarl, I could have sworn you were saying. You were saying.
Saying what?
Excuse me? I had a line there.
Ooh. I'm so sorry, Brother Shane.
Michael, give me your line again.
This is why I don't get paid.
Every time you called me Gnarl, I could have sworn you were saying. You were saying.
She choked.
Saying what?
He coaxed. She whispered the next part quietly, but he still heard her.
I love you.
Say it
Dude.
louder. I can't hear you with all the tentacles in your mouth.
Said she choked, not gagged.
There's a difference.
Yes, one call's dating, the other's matrimony.
It's funny because it's true.
Thulu's eyes widened. Love? He was incapable of human love. All of them were. Marriages between them were for the sole purpose of reproducing or creating eldritch abominations. The word would usually be eldritch, but it was spelled eldrith, which is
Yes.
grand. Still, he always felt better around Gnarl. Like he could do anything. Well, he could do anything, but you know what I mean.
I just wanted to be with you.
Only wanna be with you. She said after a long pause.
Was that so wrong?
She started to cry then, sobbing silently, her head down, shoulders shaking. Dark spots appeared in the sand by her feet. He thought this over. How could he, the god of insanity, be so utterly stupid? It was Njal. It had always been Njal. Even when he didn't know it, Njal was always there. When he wanted to cause chaos for fun, he always went to Njal. When he needed to escape Idh-yaa or Yog, he always went to Njal. When Dagon was trying to steal his cultists and he wanted revenge, he always went to Njal. And during those rare moments where he felt like an embryo, floating around in an endless sea, he always went to Njal. He needed her. He didn't know this feeling. He just knew he needed her.
Yeah, I have a hunch, but I'm not sure. If I'm wrong, I probably have gone insane or I'm actually still sleeping or lay. But if I am, then I don't want to wake up and be sane because...
He grabbed her shoulders and made her look at him. They were awfully close.
I think I might be in love with you.
He closed the distance between them, the moment Nyarlathotep had waited for so long to happen. She was still crying, but they were happy tears now. For the first time in a long time, she was happy. And that is the end of this glorious little chapter.
Now put your tentacle next to that spot that you did last time.
Now you touch my pancakes.
Let me hold the milk. You touch
Oh,
the
no.
pancakes.
You're already holding the milk. Yes, you
Oh,
got
if
to
you
touch the
keep-
pancakes to get it.
You keep touching my pancakes that way, I'm going to be done.
Oh, you're done.
I'm already done.
Oh, you're gonna be done with the pancakes.
Oh, well done.
Man, this is nonsense. As though
Oh,
that
you
needed
just
to be
now
articulated,
realized?
you know.
Really glad you gave Courtney the big shining moment there, Michael.
She was listed. Dagon.
Now, didn't he say in the last week's installment that he tried to appropriate parts equitably as much as humanly possible?
He did say that, Your Honor.
Yes. I mean, unless we were going to share, speaking roles, like two people do the same person, like it.
Now, Michael, some individuals may say that as you were scripting out the course of this story, you may have known that one, there would be a female part that was a female part through the entirety. Secondarily, there would be a female part which was not a female part for the bulk of this, and that you could have conceivably given that role to a lady
I'm
instead of making yourself.
And in my
have a-
defense,
I fine point here.
when I originally wrote this, I wasn't sure if
You wrote
Courtney
this?
When I wrote the screen adaptation, you can't assume that I wrote this.
Wrote.
This is this.
No,
is
it's almost coherent. Michael could never.
Exactly. There's no way I wrote this.
I mean, the deep emotional underpinnings of this story do sound very Michael-esque.
I mean, Michael doesn't know what love is.
Baby,
I want to know what love is. But what if I wrote as
I want you to
Cthulhu?
show me.
This is just me crying out for attention. I want to know.
I mean, it
Love
it
this.
does strike me that you got your template for romance out of manga.
I'm not that. I'm not that.
He's probably
Mangafied.
not that romantic.
Old right to left looking ass.
I didn't want to say weeb. But
Glad
then
I
I
got
said
Shane
it.
with that one.
I appreciated that one. Thank you, John.
Yeah.
Which actually outs the actual manga exposure rates of this entire show.
Really does.
Funny story about that. My first job in a library was at a public library that was attached to a high school, and the poor befuddled youth librarian who purchased materials for this group was a manga fan, and she could not figure out for the life of her why certain titles were always the ones that were found out in the collection, and I, who was reshelving them, knew exactly, because they always featured
There's some-
very largely busted women in barely concealing clothes,
Yeah.
always bouncing around and giggling and making the lovey eyes. And
There
yeah,
is
those are the
plenty
only
of
ones.
smut to be found in that world. That's for sure. Beautiful, beautiful content.
Yes. Well, thank you, Mr. Scorsese.
You're very welcome.
Well, I hope we don't bury the lead in saying that next week's installment will be the very last one. And we will not do what we did for the previous installment, the Hogwarts School of Prayer and Miracles. We will not just spring the final episode on you early.
Restraint.
If there's any story we don't want to come early with, I feel this is the one.
Yes.
Okay,
just
then.
don't feel
Well,
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
just saying that's a good point.
yeah.
Didn't expect you and I to be the only ones agreeing on that. So
Mhm, mhm.
No,
Courtney,
sorry, I'm dumbfounded.
what else is new?
this is
Courtney, you
dumb.
were saying?
Yeah.
Just don't understand how we're gonna get to an ending in one more chapter.
you don't know what's going to happen. I
Well,
have a
firstly,
prediction.
You cup the pancakes. And John, are you dry docking?
That's what's going to happen in the final episode. It's just going to be one big giant tentacly tantalizing.
I've seen
episode.
2001. I know how this whole process works.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. Well, all right. I think we have pulled this taffy for long enough, and at least without enduring some injury. But we appreciate you all being here, and we hope that you have enjoyed the experience as much as we have, or the tentacles did. But please rejoin us next Wednesday for the conclusion, the soul-stirring installment that will bring this to an abrupt cessation at the most appropriate of times, hopefully.
Here's hoping.
Yes, but out of the mouth of madness, we're going to scream at you for one more time. But if you enjoyed this particular episode and you want to express that, I believe Michael has got a very specific set of instructions for you.
You can smash the like button right down here, there, everywhere.
Do it again.
You can smash that like button.
That's the my boy.
Sorry. You can also ring that bell and leave a comment and subscribe.
Yeah, and make the comment louder than Michael's hair.
Ooh, I don't know if the font sizes get that large on YouTube, so it's going to be
Jimmy
difficult.
Neutron looking ass over here.
I've got a big brain.
I was
He's
just
got Jimmy Neutron's hair with Carl's attitude.
I just picture the brain blast, but there was like the one episode where he made himself stupid and it just zoomed in his ear and there was just empty space. And that's how my brain works.
and he has
Checks
Morty's
out.
voice. Let's not forget.
Oh, jeez.
So
Oh.
Morty Neutron over here is his brand new
Ooh.
adult film name.
He arrives precisely when he means to.
Indeed.
Oh.
All right. I believe that is going to wrap it up like a tight little testicle.
Tentacle.
Nope. We were talking about
show's
the
not-
pancakes again, remember? Yes, we are. Most certainly not for children.
No.
Anywho, I am Shane.
I'm John.
I'm Michael.
I'm Courtney.
And just so that you all know, we hope that you enjoy your milk and pancakes.